Tuesday updates are usually pretty bare to begin with, so I'm not really expecting the moon and the stars anymore, but one thing that I was genuinely surprised by when we were making yesterday's video talking about the things to expect and what to look out for was the fact that Black Ops 4 is now only entering its third week into a brand new operation. I figured that we'd have to have something that would make this really worthwhile, but it turns out, well, it's not the case, and as you'll see in this video, one of the few things that was added actually quite agitates me the most. So as always, I'll give you guys the cold hard facts, but unlike our update videos, I'm probably going to interject my opinion here at the very tail end, so we'll get to that in a second. But let's talk about simply just the update, what's on hand today. When you launch your game, you'll notice a slightly altered main menu. Not by much, but you can see that Ambush Quads was introduced to that main menu, in which we see displayed the new skins for the updated V2 of it. As well, you can see a shotgun in the imagery, which also plays in line with that second variation of the new update, live now on all platforms. And starting with that, let's just jump in with the Blackout end of things, because this is probably where the biggest part of this playlist update came from. Again, not all that much was really changed out today, but this was one area that did get changed. Ambush Quads is now back in the game as that, again, featured V2 variation of it, that second iteration, and it's slightly altered to where it was before. Previously, Ambush allowed you to end up having access to the snipers of the Paladin, the Koshka, the Outlaw, and the SDM. You had the Bowie knife for close quarters. Launchers as well were still there, if I'm not mistaken. You had cluster grenades and concussions, as well as the ATV and ARAV, among other vehicles. Now, this time around, it's actually a little bit different. You can, of course, double check this on the playlist selection, but you now have the ability to access the snipers of the Paladin, Koshka, and Outlaw only. The SDM was actually removed to get rid of some of the spammy nature of that. Shotguns were added, which is a major meta shift here at this, and if you're looking to take advantage of some of this meta, I definitely recommend the SG-12. While the MOG does outperform in damage, if it's between you and a Bowie knife, well, you're not winning that fight if you need to cock the shotgun. The spam factor definitely does help with the SG-12. Same thing goes with the Rampage, but you don't find the Rampage as much as the SG-12, so I think that's a little more consistent of a drop here at that. I think the Rampage is usually only in that stash, but outside of that, SG-12, pretty solid. Additionally, though, cluster and concussion grenades were both removed. You still have the frags, which are still insanely good, so if you want something of a throwable projectile or explosive, pick those up, definitely useful. ATVs and ARAVs are now both removed, which is great because if you remember from the original Ambush, it late game became so annoying because players would just stick on ATVs. You couldn't snipe them unless you were tremendously accurate, and you couldn't Bowie knife them off it, but they did have that speed and enough force to run you over and get those kills. So even in that final small tiny little circle, you'd still end up seeing somebody drive around with the ATV because they could just run people over. So that's been removed to get rid of that kind of stuff, which is absolutely great. And talking about that final circle, the time for this was adjusted so you have more time to move in. Out of the half dozen or so games that I ended up playing, it didn't seem like many times, if at all, we had been forced into the zone because the circle was so small that it just dissipated. So that's always good. It gives you a lot more to play around with, so you shouldn't have as many heal-offs or anything like that come late game. So it just comes down to your skill with sniper and potentially those close quarters weapons of the shotguns or the melees. This supports up to 100 players, so it's a ton of fun. I think outside of Alcatraz, this is still my favorite LTM, and I'll be honest, the adjustments made to the mode definitely I think were needed, and I'm all for it. I absolutely love it even more. I know that I've heard a few complaints about shotguns ruining it for some people, and it's certainly different, and I totally understand the validity of those claims and opinions, and it's opinions. You don't have to like it as much as I do. There is no right or wrong answer. It's just gonna take some time to maybe getting used to. But definitely check it out if you guys have not played Ambush at all beforehand. But if you guys also want to play it and just jump in with something that I think is tremendous amounts of fun, definitely give that a go. Other than that, the only other things to mention are that one, Bounty Hunter Quads were removed from the LTMs and featured playlists with this update, re-adding Ambush in for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, but it's available on all platforms as of right now. It's not exclusive at the moment. But that said, number two is that Bounty Hunter Quads, if you guys are interested in that, is available on PC currently. Doesn't help probably a large number of you guys here watching the channel, but with only 2 other curated playlists of duos and Ambush, it is there available to play. The unfortunate part is, one, is only 3 playlists because of the player base, so cool that you end up getting Bounty Hunter Quads, but also, again, unfortunate that there's not enough players, and also things like Alcatraz are disabled. But outside of Blackout, let's talk other changes. Well, MP, there is literally nothing. The new Bare Bones Deathmatch playlist will be introduced this Friday. I'm not entirely sure what's up with the recent adjustment to featured playlists in MP, or if it will become a normal thing, but we've seen Prop Hunt and now the Deathmatch Bare Bones version launching on a Friday for the weekend. I kind of like it more on Tuesdays, but that's just me. We'll see if this becomes a regular thing or if it's just these two modes that are launching on Fridays. But anyways, the new bare bones mode will encompass your standard TDM and also include kill confirmed, so a bit of a change up from what we currently have of just domination and TDM. This will include the same rule set though come Friday, with no specialist weaponry, no special issue equipment, no gear, no operator mods, nothing like that. And that'll be the changes here for Friday's update, and today of course nothing really changed in MP. As for zombies, again, nothing changed here today. Thursday, we're going to see that double Nebulium Plasma kick off, but that's, again, a couple of days away. As you can see, we really didn't get anything in today's update. If you're a Blackout fan, of course, Ambush is definitely a lot of fun. I'm going to be playing a ton of it, but still, it's really not all that much. The only other change at all came in the way of the shop. And again, this is the frustrating part that I'm going to voice some opinions on here after we talk about just the cold hard facts at first. Honestly, I'm all right with the refresh of the featured items. I think that's totally fine. We got the SDM Mastercraft, which we saw in the game files from data mined content a few weeks ago on the PC update for Spectre Rising. And we got an honestly pretty cool looking Ruin outfit. As you guys know, I'm not really all that for uniforms, but this one's pretty cool. I don't use the SDM, so I'll save my 1,000 COD points, and I won't lie, I am tempted to get that Ruin outfit because the animated effect on it is actually pretty cool. But again, I think I'll pass since, one, it's uniform, I'll only ever see the arms on it, and two, I just don't use Ruin all that much, so it's not really worth the 600 COD points in my books. Totally up to you guys if you guys want to find that, but outside of that, I don't know if I'm just getting agitated at every single move now or I sound entitled. I sure hope that I don't, and feel free to slap me around if I am. But why in the world was it ever considered, let alone approved, to have the Fall Firearms bundle back as a seasonal special order? For context, to me, this is a horrible choice for multiple reasons. Number one, we saw this back on November 26th, and people didn't like it then. It was the resale of what players thought was a pre-order bonus, negating the reason some players even bought the game to begin with where they did. Then another reason that it was hated was because a few weeks before this went live, the Maddox Carbon Cobra, as it was called, now the Mark II, was given to all players for free. Literally zero charge. It was on your account, all you had to do was log in and you had it. You had access to the reactive camo, you had access to the Mastercraft, all for no charge. Hence, you'll see some footage of it in the background. I got some whenever I had it for that day that it was there. But then it was removed without warning and then promptly sold at an upcharge, and what we now see again as $20 with 11 calling cards and tags. I get it, it was probably never meant to go live, but if a mistake like that happens, the brand conscious thing to do would be to give players it and let it be. Not try to take that new toy from them and sell it back to them for $20. The same principles still apply with this first point. I'm still frustrated by this since the same thing again, but just a different timetable and in May now. I just don't understand that. Secondly, we're starting out our third week of a brand new operation. I expect rehashes late into the season when it's dying down, prepping players for new content and getting them excited while also allowing them to catch up on older content, but we're 14 days in, man. Why do we have 2 recycled things already for special orders? And listen, I had this exchange on Twitter. I'm completely all for bringing back rare items, if you will, but not at the expense of genuinely new content. I had a video scheduled for quite some time, and you'll see that tomorrow. It's been ready, and unfortunately we have this crossover now with this, but we're talking about how I feel we can change and fix and save Black Ops 4 if Treyarch are willing to make changes and work with the community. And the one thing that I bring up in the video tomorrow is that by all means, sell the stuff that we see now. Let players catch up on items they may have missed, but do it in the way that the Queen's Guard bundle, the Dragon Slayer bundle, the ICR, the GKS, or the Titan First Strike items are, as bundles that are out of the way and not removing new items from the pool as a result. It's literally been done before. It's not like it even has to be created as a new part of the shop for this to happen. We're just now starting our third week of the operation, man. This copy and paste stuff shouldn't be happening this early on. This is when you should be keeping your players' attention and trying to win them over with cool stuff, especially if you want them to pay out of their pockets for it. And not to mention that the players who want that 5% tier boost that comes along with the special orders are getting absolutely shafted if they have any of these items. I liked the boost, but last week, no way I'm paying $10 for 10 reserve cases that will net me stickers and dupes only because I already had the Soldier of Fortune MX9 from my pre-order. And also this week, another 5% is off the table for anyone who either, one, bought this bundle before back in November, or who ended up getting the Strife from what I think is the GameStop pre-order or something. It's just continuously pushing players away. And the third thing that is just totally me being nitpicky It's not even fall, man. Sure, the southern hemisphere is getting into fall now, perhaps autumn, but let's be real, you guys want better servers and attention for matchmaking. This isn't it. End of the day, there just really needs to be some changes that go with not only this MTX system, but attentiveness, keeping players involved with the game. I'll have this all detailed tomorrow. Again, it wasn't even planned this way. I've had this video done for weeks now, and it's been something I've been meaning to put up that I just never got the time, but man, it works perfectly from this till tomorrow. So we'll talk about all that later, but that is the update here for Black Ops 4 today. Again, very little, if anything at all, depending on what you're playing and what you value in the game. So that said, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you guys excited Ambush is back? Are you guys frustrated that the Fall Firearms bundle is back? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Call of Duty, not just Black Ops 4. We're starting to transition over into when I'm anticipating some leaks or anything for COD 2019. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, updates, news, information, tips, tricks, and of course, future stuff relating to Call of Duty, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. And if you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to start a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. But let's end out of the way. Thank you guys all so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.